Chapter 65. Inheritance or Succession. Numbers 36, 1-3. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses, and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, The Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel, and my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad our brother unto his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, The tribe of the sons of Joseph hath said well. This is the thing which the Lord doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. Neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. Even as the Lord commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mahlal, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brothers' sons. And they were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the sons of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father. These are the commandments and the judgments which the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains by Moab, by Jordan, near Jericho. Numbers 36, 1-13. In Numbers 27, 1-11, we see that daughters could be heirs. This chapter does not contradict that fact, but supplements it. The question raised is of another sort, namely, what happened to the clan lands if such female heiresses married outside the clan? If a girl were not an heiress, then it made no difference whom she married and what his clan or tribal affiliations were, but if an heiress, her marriage to another would mean a break-up of the integrity of clan lands. Her possession would then go, possibly, to men of another tribe. Moreover, in a jubilee year, to whom would such lands revert, if an inter-clan marriage took place? Because the Bible is a land-based book, and our faith tied to the earth as the Lord's, Psalm 24:1, the question is not an academic one. For modern man, land has become a commodity and an investment, not essentially a faith inheritance. Our modern outlook thus warps our perspective. For this reason, our federal government thinks nothing of allowing in as immigrants an increasing number of people who are religiously and racially hostile to us. They see no relationship between faith and land. As a result, the United States and the Western world have embarked on a suicidal course. They reject the concept of Christendom and embrace instead the humanistic, quote, family of man, end quote, and thus immigration policies in the US and Europe are based on myths and illusions of a destructive nature. Because neither land nor inheritance is now seen from the perspective of faith. We have problems in these spheres. The modern state sees itself as the primary owner, and hence eminent domain is basic to its life. And it therefore views itself as the primary heir with death taxes. Both the tax on the land and death taxes are anti-biblical. A disregard for ties to the lands has been one of the most destructive forces of the 20th century. In Africa, artificial nations were created after World War II without regard for the fact that they encompassed rival warring tribes. Artificial unions such as Yugoslavia were created after World War I, bringing together differing peoples and religious groups. All such efforts have simply created chaos and conflict. The rationalistic planners of our time are Hegelians. For them, the rational is the real, and their rational ideas become a Procrustean bed on which humanity is tortured. Scholars, as a result, fail to see the importance of this chapter because, as one has observed, the question of inheritance as such is not a living issue with us today. Unhappily, he is, in one sense, clearly right. When the people, out of envy for the rich, vote in inheritance taxes, they clearly do not see the matter as religious in essence, and neither do they see their envy and the resulting tax for what they are: sin. The daughters of Zelophehad, Numbers 27, 1-11, were members of the tribe of Manasseh, but all the clans were concerned because they feared a breakup of local loyalties and land ownership. It was these girls who had originally petitioned Moses about heirship. None now challenged that fact. However, the clan leaders of the sub-clan these girls belonged to now raised the question. The clan or tribe is an extended family. The modern outlook is that such loyalties represent provincialism. It is true that some groups have been very short-sighted and provincial, but vast nations such as the United States have been equally short-sighted and provincial. The greatest intellectual influence exercised by Germany, for example, was when it was not one nation, but many small principalities. From before the Reformation until the time of Bismarck, these small German states, some very, very limited in area, were the intellectual and scientific centres of the world. It has been since about 1850 that bigness has been equated with superiority. Calvin raised the question, why did God not answer this aspect of the inheritance problem when the daughters of Zelophehad raised the question in Numbers 27, 1-11? He felt that this was an important aspect of this problem. His answer was, in short, whereas God might have spontaneously anticipated this, he preferred to grant it at the request of those who asked nothing but what was just and equitable. He thus preferred that men see the implication of things and then inquire of him. As Calvin pointed out, God gives women free permission to marry, but they cannot alienate the paternal inheritance insofar as the land is concerned. We can add that if the man choose to become a member of his wife's clan and renounce his own, no problem would then arise. He would not then receive land from his own clan. The answer God gave through Moses was that the daughters who were heiresses should marry someone from their own subclan, verse 6-9. The daughters of Zelophehad, apparently with God's permission through Moses, decided to marry cousins on their father's side, verses 11 and 12. This was normally not permitted. We meet with one other instance of such unions in 1 Chronicles 23, 21 and 22, where the daughters of a man without a male heir married their cousins. At this point, a very, very important fact must be confronted. Our concept of inheritance is a modern one. It means strictly the acquisition of property by one person on the death of another. This is a sterile, one-generational idea, and it is thoroughly alien to what the Bible means by inheritance. Another word may perhaps give us some idea of what the Bible doctrine means: succession. Naboth, in facing Ahab's attempt to buy him out at a very good price, refused. His property was a trust from his forefathers to the generations yet to come, and it was not his to sell or to profit by to the exclusion of future generations. 1 Kings 21:3. Naboth saw himself as a link in a succession of generations. This is why adoption was important in antiquity. We meet with adoption, first of all, in Genesis 48, 5-6, although in this case Jacob adopts his two grandsons by Joseph as his own sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Much more important, however, is the use of adoption in theology. God is the adopting father of Israel, Exodus 4:22, Deuteronomy 8:5, 14:1, etc. Of course, the New Testament speaks of Christians as adopted sons by God's sovereign grace. The purpose of adoption was to create a succession of faith, authority, and responsibility. We see the word succession used with reference to royalty and the nobility. It has always meant a transfer of responsibility and custody. In one instance in England, where a gentleman not of the nobility lost an 800-year-old family inheritance because two quick deaths led to confiscatory taxation, what was involved was a town and many farms. All had been under the family's government and protection for generations, and they wept as the family left the ancient home and estate. The succession in this case had been one of godly men who had inherited responsibilities and had discharged them faithfully under God. In this doctrine of succession, which modern society has virtually destroyed, and this is why commentators on chapters such as this are so blind. By God's grace, I come from a family which lived for almost all the Christian era until 1915 in one place, and, by God's grace, we may live for generations on our present land. The concept of succession is a doctrine which holds that all property and wealth is a trust from past generations to the ones to come. Our responsibility is not to use and burn up wealth, but to increase wealth for God's glory and kingdom, to enrich our children's children in every way for His service and possession. Historically, conversion from one religion to another has meant disinheritance all over the world, because the convert is now a member of a different law system and is therefore an heir to its wealth of faith, and he is the founder of a new line of succession. It should now be apparent how narrow and existentialist modern man has become on the subject of inheritance. His thinking, however fact-filled, has lost a sense of history because he has severed himself from the God over all history. It is noteworthy that the existentialist economist, Lord Keynes, a homosexual as well, developed his economic theory with a mindlessness about the future. Asked once about the consequences of his thinking, he answered, "In the long run, we are all dead." Any non-biblical approach to inheritance is a love of death. This has been a Chalcedon Foundation production, produced by Grace Community School and Nicene Covenant Church, published by Ross House Books. Copyright 2006, Mark R. Rushdoony. If you enjoyed this audiobook, be sure to visit chalcedon.edu for more books and audiobooks by Russus John Rushdoony.